All right, we back with another episode, Top Related, episode 5. Here myself, no joke, Yoda, my boy Maul. Uh, we're gonna start off. Always start off with college football. Um, so my team, Alabama. Um, what I would say it was one of the best games that I watched all year. Alabama versus LSU. A game going in where you know it's a really good offense. I think LSU number one offense in the country versus Alabama's defense, which has been pretty exceptional the last couple of weeks, especially primarily in the second half. This game ended up being a shootout, which I didn't really know how the game was gonna go. Which type of style Alabama was gonna play. Was they gonna start off slow? This was a game that I didn't think they could start off slow in the first half just because LSU's capability to score. And I feel like they showed that from the jump start. Jaden Daniels, he played exceptional. I mean, you couldn't really ask for much more from him at the quarterback position for LSU. I mean, he played his heart out. I mean, he did, what I think everybody expected him to do. Now, I was hoping that, you know, we could make him play one of his worst games of the season, but I mean, he's so, elusive, man. When he could throw the ball and when he's not throwing, he's running. You know what I'm saying? And he's hard to stop. As far as the way he can use his legs. But I'll say, I think the um, I think the stamp on this game was Jalen Milroe and him breaking out in a way. We always knew he can use his legs. You always knew he's one of the fastest guys on the field every time he gets out there. But I think he really took into account, wasn't thinking in the pocket, you know what I'm saying? When he's dropping back and he doesn't have nothing, he's not really thinking anymore. He's just going, he's running. When he doesn't have anywhere to throw the ball, he's not, I think earlier in the season we were seeing him second guess himself. And it seems like he's just not doing that anymore, you know what I'm saying? He ended up matching Jaden Daniels in terms of production, you know what I'm saying, statistically. And I think that was the stamp for Alabama. Alabama be able to go score for score with LSU, then coming in the second half and only holding LSU to 7 points like they've been holding teams, to a low amount of points all year. I think that was the stamp and a glue to the game for Alabama, in which Alabama came on top with two scores. You know what I'm saying? So going forward, I mean, man, this is a team to be reckoned with. I don't see any team beating that's Alabama team when they're playing like that. I can't see any team beating Alabama when they're playing like that, man. And I know we want to say a lot about LSU's defense, but Alabama's defense couldn't really buy a stop up until maybe the fourth quarter in the game. Like, I mean, it was score for score. You know what I'm saying? So as much as we want to talk about LSU defense, Alabama, one of the top defenses in the country, the top 15 defense in the country, they couldn't stop LSU on the other side of the ball either. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think that's where I stand as of now. You already know I'm always writing for my team, but I'm always be real. And when I'm being real, and I think everybody's seen this, is that Alabama is one of the best teams in the country. And if they went out, I mean, there's no question that they should be in the college football playoffs.
Coming to this game, I had LSU beating you guys. It was
Yeah, we
leading up
know,
to
we,
that
we
point.
know, we know, we know, we know your delusions,
Delusion. It was living up to the hype.
delusions. It wasn't really
It was
living
going
up
back.
to that.
It was going back and forth for a minute there, and then Alabama kind of put away a little bit, and then McDaniels got hurt. That late hit, that should do who hit him should have got ejected too. I feel like that was a dirty hit.
It wasn't a
McDaniels, their whole
dirty
team, once
hit,
he went out, the game
bro.
was over. That was a dirty hit.
What type of football have we
Um,
been watching the last couple of years, bro? It wasn't a
that
dirty
was a
hit,
dirty
bro.
hit.
It wasn't a
That was
dirty.
a
What was he
dirty hit.
supposed to do? You can't stop yourself in tackling motion. He was already in tackling motion when Jaden Daniels was widening up. You can't stop
If
yourself in
if if he
tackling motion, bro. Like that's
if
not
he got
realistic.
flagged for that, he knocks
He
him out
got
of
a
the game
flag.
like
That's all it
that.
should have
Yeah,
been.
he should be.
He got a flag for roughing the passer. That's all it should have been. It was not no dirty hit. They always try to make these narratives when it comes to Alabama, bro. Like Bryce Young got hit the same way last year against Tennessee, and nobody said anything. But now it happens to somebody else that's not
We
Alabama.
wasn't doing this then. I would have said that then.
Nah, bro.
Alabama's Alabama. As for Milroe, like he reminds me a lot like Anthony Richardson. I said it earlier, the early episodes.
And I thought that was I actually thought that was a good comparison just in terms of
Yeah,
the play style. They kind of, flashy. They're both Jalen Milroe's flashier than what people think. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
know
he
he's
is.
not the
He's
most dynamic
right now.
thrower.
Yeah, right now he's as a dynamic thrower. Right now he's pretty raw right now, but he's what a redshirt sophomore, a redshirt freshman.
Redshirt
So
sophomore, I
I
think.
think I think he'll progress and get better. As for this Alabama team, like you said, if they run the table, they'll probably get in. But I don't think they'll beat Georgia. They're playing much better than they were early in the year, though. But I think it's going to come down to them in Georgia in the SEC championship. That game is really a toss-up, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know if they'll beat Georgia, but that's what I don't think y'all going to lose any more games in the regular season. But it's going to come down to that.
I say this. I'll be real. Georgia, Georgia, their best game this year, I thought was against Kentucky. Other than that, I haven't seen anything that tells me that we can't beat Georgia. I've seen them struggle in a couple of games now against teams that's just not on our
You
level.
better hope they lose. You better hope
I
they lose in one of these next 3 games.
I don't. I want the we need them to win out. We want them to win out. We need them to win out and get to the SEC championship because we want them to be number one and we want to beat them as the number one team. We don't want to beat them as we don't want them to lose to Ole Miss and then they
I
like,
hope y'all get into Florida State and see y'all and put y'all out. I pray. That's my only wish. That'd be my early
Ma,
Christmas present. I hope we get y'all and whoop y'all
it's
butt.
Ma. This look, I'll say we're the most balanced. I think we're the most balanced team in the country, just in terms of
No, y'all
what we
not.
can do on offense.
Michigan
And
is.
Michigan hasn't played
They
anybody,
got
bro. We
Michigan.
haven't seen Michigan against nobody
They
good.
better play
They
Penn
haven't
State this
played.
week.
Okay, but
They better play somebody good.
Penn State's not that good to me, bro. I've been saying this for the
Oh
longest. Penn
my
State's just not
God.
that
Now they're
good
not
to
that
me.
good. They're ranked
Every
higher than
year,
y'all.
Every year, Penn State, they do this every year. They have not proved to be a team that can beat the top teams in the country. No, they play all these mediocre teams. Then they play Ohio State and Michigan, and they get waxed every year.
Y'all wouldn't be Michigan.
They're expected to be. They're expected to be, Penn State. You know what I'm saying? They're expected to beat them. So, I mean, I want to see them against Ohio State. I think Ohio State will be the test. It's came out recently that they're stealing signs or something like that. Like they're cheat. They're out there cheat.
That's interesting with that.
They've been out there cheating the last 2 years. Like, bro, I think we're the most
Which I don't
balanced
agree
team.
with. Why can't the dude go? Why can't somebody go scout? You know what I'm saying? Like, why
That's
he
not
can't go? Why
scouting.
he
That's
can't go
not
scout another
scouting.
team?
That's not scouting. That's not scouting. But what they need to do is they need to eliminate that. We wouldn't have this problem if they would just go towards what the NFL does now, is where they can hear the coaches in their helmet. We wouldn't even have to deal with like what is
Yeah,
up with these goofy childish signs that they be putting up in college football. Like get rid of that. We need to get rid of that. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Well,
look,
speaking of
Georgia,
Michigan,
I agree. I think the Georgia game versus us is a toss up as of now. I mean, I can't say it's not a toss up. I mean, Georgia hasn't lost. I can't say it's not a toss up. But I don't think we have our strength of schedule is better than anybody's in the country right now in terms of like the ranked teams. I think we're eighth in strength of schedule, strength of record, we're five. So I mean, look, man, we went out, we gonna win out. I think everybody knows we're gonna win out. I mean, I'm not saying like we should look past anybody, but we're gonna win out and we're just gonna be looking forward to the SEC championship and we'll see what happens. The cards will play itself then. But there's been a
yeah.
shakeup,
Let's
uh recent shakeup in the college football playoff rankings. So I mean, we haven't been on the last 2 weeks, but you know, as a recent, Ohio State has took the number one ranking in the college football playoff rankings. And I could say reasonably, I would say, okay, well, I'll live with that, right? Because they still got to see Michigan. And also, I thought their resume at the time when the rankings came out was the best in the country, okay? I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I thought their resume at the time was the best in the country, but what's not helping Ohio State right now is that um Notre Dame has came up with 3 losses. Um, and that win is looking not as impressive as it was looking earlier in the season. And also, what Penn State, which if Penn State loses this weekend, I think Penn State, because they was talking about this among the committee on ESPN when the week 2 rankings of college football playoffs came out. They were saying that just Penn State, they're not showing Penn State has not improved. Okay, so I mean, I look see the committee dropping Penn State a couple of spots if they lose this game versus Michigan. Um, and that will be a burden in their resume. You know what I'm saying? I don't think their resume will be the best in the country anymore if that happens. I think Alabama will have a case to have a better resume than them. I think Texas will have a case as the best one in the country. I think that, Washington will still have a one of the best ones in the country. Um, it doesn't help them to stay number one, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely see if Georgia wins this weekend against Ole Miss, a top 10 team, they'll first have their first top 10 win. I see them jumping. You know what I'm saying? I see them jumping Ohio State, which we want. As an Alabama fan, I want. We want Georgia to be number one coming into the SEC championship. If we could beat them as the number one
Yeah,
team, it just helps our case so much more. You know what I'm
and I don't
saying?
understand how Ohio State jumped them anyways. Georgia has lost a game in 2 years. How can you
Yeah, but
jump them? They
it's
haven't
not. We don't
lost.
look at the last 2 years, but we look at recency bias. It's not the last two. We look at what we look at right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what we look at. We look at right now. I know the eye test doesn't have
Don't
Ohio
worry,
State,
Ohio State got Michigan coming.
and we'll see how
Yeah,
that goes. I mean, I don't. It's hard for me to believe that Michigan beats Ohio State 3 straight years in a row. But I mean, I think Michigan's the better team. That's what I would say, but I just don't know. We don't know how that game's gonna go. I think Michigan has the experience personally. Um, I
so
what I
so
don't agree with. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
What I don't agree with, I don't see. I I actually like what I've seen out of Oregon. Okay, I like what I've seen out of them all year, but I don't agree with them being at the 6th spot over Texas and Alabama. You know why? Because what is their who's Oregon's best win against? Utah.
Maybe
Utah.
Utah, but that conference is a killer. That Pac-12, they beat up on everybody over there in that conference. You understand? They have about 10 teams in the beginning of the season ranked in the top 25. So
The
they
we
all beat
not
up
we
on
not
each other over
looking at
there.
we not yeah it was gonna be like that though. I mean, it was always gonna be like that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, look,
And if you look at it, they still got Washington, Oregon, Oregon State, Utah, um, Arizona.
and which is
Is USC still ranked?
yeah.
Or USC?
No,
They still got all them. So they got
USC is not ranked
USC.
anymore.
They're out of the top 25. Last week they had just as many SEC teams as Pac-12 teams ranked in the top 25. So they all beat up on each other over there too. So um and like coming in, like I told you, I thought that was the best conference when everybody was ranked earlier in the season. But
And I told you that was gonna
who your
change based off the matchups.
who's your top contenders right now in
I
the
mean, it doesn't really see the way I see it is that is there. I mean, you have your contenders, obviously. I don't know, man. It's so tricky, man. Any team from 1 to 8 right now could be in the top four by the end of the year, based off how things play out. We
yeah
don't know. I could definitely see Washington losing later. I could definitely see Oregon losing another game. I could definitely. I don't know if I see Washington losing another game, but I definitely could see Washington losing in the Pac-12 championship. Um, this will be a tough game this weekend against USC. I tell you that. USC just dropped their last two, and I mean, we know
yeah
it's the
it's in
USC's probably
Oregon.
always, yeah. See, and USC's probably always going to be their defense. I mean, we should think this would be a game that Oregon should win, but don't be surprised if USC comes out with the win on top this weekend. I mean, they want to win, man. I mean, I know Caleb Williams. He wants to win. He's tired of losing, bro. You get tired of
Yeah,
losing, especially when your expectations
they
was
got
high coming into the
they fired
season.
their DC, so they need to get a defense. Maybe he might come back to SC, might try to run it back so you get a chance to play for college for the national championship.
But yeah, I definitely think Oregon's on upset alert this weekend, and that just doesn't help Washington's case. Okay, so Washington really wants Oregon to keep winning. That doesn't help Washington's case, but Washington just got to win out. They got to win the Pac-12. They win the Pac-12. I think they have a fair case to get in. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what happens with these other teams. Um, I've been telling you Florida State's on the upset alert this weekend. I definitely see Florida State losing again. I know you don't want to hear that, but I just definitely see it happen. I don't trust Florida
Please, we're
State.
not losing. Who is
I
beating
don't
us?
trust Florida State. I don't trust Florida
Why don't
State.
you
I
trust
don't
us?
trust
We 9
Florida
and
State.
0.
I don't. Who, bro? Who have y'all like? Y'all win.
We
Y'all
beat
resumes
everybody in
come.
front of us.
Y'all
We beat
y'all
everybody
resume.
in front of us.
Okay, and y'all almost dropped versus Boston College, and I thought
Almost
y'all
ain't
would
a
have lost to
loss.
Duke.
You see
I thought
what does
y'all
our
would have
record
lost to
say?
Duke. I thought
What
y'all would
does
have
our
lost to
record
Duke.
say? Wait a
Oh
minute.
my god,
Almost. Almost is it? We
yo.
beat them by 17. How's that almost?
Why did y'all beat them by 17? What happened in that game that led y'all to go up by 17? And it didn't happen until he got hurt and left the
Our
game.
defense turned up.
Riley Leonard, no, Riley
Did he
Leonard got
play?
injured.
He
He got
played.
injured.
He
Bro, y'all was
played.
down. Y'all
He
was
did.
tied
He
up
wasn't
with
doing nothing when he
him.
was in. He was like 9 for 27 in
Y'all
completions.
were
He wasn't
tied
doing
up
nothing
with
when he was
them.
in.
Y'all were tied with them. Y'all would have lost. I'm trying to. They would have lost if Riley Leonard doesn't
How
lead
you
that
know that?
game. They would have lost, bro. Because I know,
Riley Leonard, he
because
was like
Florida
9
State
for
is a,
27.
Florida
He
State is
wasn't
a,
doing nothing when he was
because
in.
Florida State is a choke artist, bro. That's why. Because Florida
How we
State
a
is a
choke artist?
choke
We got
artist.
rings. We got
Oh my
rings,
God,
baby.
rings! And
We
when's the
got
last
rings.
time? Y'all 7 years in the past,
2013.
bro. Well, that's 10 years
2013.
ago.
That's how long y'all about to go. Y'all about to be
Y'all haven't
dropped
won
because
in
Georgia
10
owned the
years,
SEC.
bro. Oh my God. Oh.
That's how long y'all about to be
What's
because Georgia not
Georgia's
took over
record
the
against
SEC.
Alabama? I want to say Georgia's record against Alabama in the Nick Saban era is like 1-8, something like that. Crazy, like. But we're just gonna bypass that. I
All
don't
right.
trust Florida
How about
State,
this?
Michigan,
It's
or
about to be 2-8 after the SEC championship.
LOL.
How
We'll
about
see.
that?
We'll see. We
It'll
shall
be
see.
2-8.
We shall see. We shall see.
All right,
You know what? You
let's
know what? You know
we
what?
gotta
We want Florida State to win out because I want to beat the brakes off of Florida State, like we did the last time
you
we
don't
played them.
want
Remember
that.
the last
You don't
time?
want that.
Remember the last time? Remember the last time?
This is a totally different
Mm-hmm.
team.
Mm-hmm. That was a top 3
But
Florida State
we gotta
team
move
too.
on.
You know what I'm saying? But nah, look.
We gotta move on.
All right, yeah, we gonna move on to the next topic. Uh um we're gonna get into the NBA. How concerned should we be of the
Let's do it.
Lakers? Me,
you wanna go? I'm going.
I'll start off because it's gonna be quick.
Go ahead.
I just think that it's 7 games. I don't want to overreact to the first 8 games of the season. Like I don't overreact. I mean, the Lakers started off 1-10 last year or something crazy like that. I don't want to overreact. I just think that the Lakers' biggest problem right now is availability. Anthony Davis is not available again. We had Jared Vanderbilt has not played a game. Gabe Vincent is out for some reason. You can't like LeBron said, you can't build cohesiveness without your unit there. Without your full unit there, and it's early in the season, and their full unit hasn't been there a majority of the time. So I mean, I'm not gonna do too much in terms of saying like I should be super concerned about the Lakers, but I mean, it is a little bit of concern. Them getting beat by the Rockets the way they got beat, and then them losing to a Orlando Magic team that I think is pretty good. I think they're pretty good. Personally, I think they're pretty good.
They play hard.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I think the Rockets have improved, but it's just you shouldn't have lost in that fashion. You know what I'm saying? It's the fashion that they lost
I'm
in.
by 30.
They got dropped by 30. So I mean, I think there's a little bit concern, but you don't want to do too much. I don't want to be too concerned or put too much on that. The first 8 games of the season, they'll pick it up. They'll definitely pick it up.
I think they put too much on LeBron, on your guy. He's playing the second most minutes in the league right now, and he's 38. That's not going to end well. Father Time is undefeated. Um, he's going to eventually break down playing that many minutes. I know coming to every season, Ham always be like he's going to play less and less minutes, but his minutes are going up more and more. always damaged, is already hurt 8 games in. But like I said, you know what I'm saying? So that's a big health issue. Um, but how I see it, like I told you in the beginning, like when we first started this, it was it's all depends if LeBron and AD are healthy, but they got LeBron and AD and just a bunch of guys. How I look at it, that's all. Like they got them two and a bunch of guys. Like the Lakers don't have a legit third best player. They got Rui, D'Lo, Venner, all them Reeves, all them guys. They're all a bunch of guys. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have a legit third best player right now. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I don't even know how long AD's out. It all depends on him. So we'll see. Whenever he gets back.
What I don't agree with it is, bro, I don't think that them having just a bunch of guys is a problem. I mean, you need when you in this year in an era where LeBron is getting older and he can still play at the level he can play at. You don't want him, totaling a whole bunch of minutes. You just need sometimes you need a bunch of guys. You need depth. You know, they have a bunch of guys that they could throw into that rotation at times. I don't agree with them they don't need a third best player. They made it to the Western Conference Finals without that last year. Like they don't need a third best player. They need to be available. They need to be healthy. That's the only concern when we talk about the Lakers. I don't think they need a third best player. They don't need no third best player. You know what I'm saying? I don't like if you look at the other like better teams. I mean, it's arguable who's Denver Nuggets third best player. Like I don't know who their third best player is. It could be Gordon. It could be Michael Porter Jr. Like
they're better. Gordon is better than any of them other players I just said though. He's better than Rui. He's better than D'Angelo.
He's been in the league for a long. He's been in the league for a long time. I don't think he's better than D'Angelo Russell. I just don't. I don't. I think he's. I think
the same thing every night. He's gonna give you 14, and he gonna play
I don't think he's. I don't think he's better than D'Angelo Russell. I wouldn't say that. D'Angelo Russell is an 8. D'Angelo Russell is an 18-5 guy right now. I wouldn't say he's better. I think that he's better
in the playoffs. No, he's every other game.
He's more. Look, bro. Matter
of fact, when they played Aaron Gordon, did he even play versus Denver in the playoffs?
Like, yeah, bro.
He might as well say. He might as well stay in Golden State.
This the difference. This the difference, bro. Aaron Gordon only averages 13 points and 7 boards, but this is the difference. The difference is that Aaron Gordon is better, and Aaron Gordon is better in his role than what D'Angelo Russell is for the Lakers. Now, I'm not going to say he's a better basketball player, though. Like, I'm not going to say he's a better basketball player. He's just better in his role. You know what I'm saying? That's all it comes down to. Like, he's better in his role.
Denver role players are better than the Lakers role players.
I don't agree with that. Porter's not a role player. Porter's not a role player.
Then what is he?
He's like I don't consider any of Denver's starters role players. They're not role. Porter's not a role player, bro. Porter's not a role player. Bro, Porter's not a role player, bro. He's consistent in what he does, bro.
He's not when he's out there.
Yes, he is. When he's out there, he's consistent on what he does, bro.
He didn't hit a shot in the finals.
Who?
How was he consistent? Michael Porter Jr.
Oh my god.
He didn't hit a shot in the NBA finals. Consistent at what? If his jump shot not falling, he's not doing.
Y'all disrespecting Michael Porter, bro. Y'all disrespecting.
I'm not disrespecting him.
You're disrespecting him. You know why I say that?
Oh, I said he's a better.
It's because, bro,
he's a better role than any Lakers role players.
He was their third leading scorer in the playoffs. I mean, I'm trying to understand what you're talking about, bro. Like he averaged 15 and 9, almost averaged a double.
That's a role player.
Bro, he's not. I wouldn't consider him a role player. I don't consider
He averaged 2 more points than Aaron Gordon.
I consider dudes that come off the bench the role players. And if we look off Denver's bench and Lakers bench, right? Would never say that Denver has a better bench than the Lakers. I think that their cohesiveness. I think they have more cohesiveness, bro. I think they all know their roles on the team and they follow those roles. Lakers don't have that.
Last year in the playoffs, Brown outplayed anybody on the Lakers bench in that series. Literally.
I agree. I think, well, I don't know if I agree with that, bro. I don't know if I agree with that. Rui had a hell of a series that game. I don't know if he outplayed him. I think, like I keep saying, this is the whole narrative with the Denver Nuggets, bro. Because Bruce Brown, like he averaged 12. He came 12 and 4. Rui put up better numbers than him, but it's just what your role is and what what I'm just what I'm saying. Like it's a role thing, bro. It's like them following their roles on their team. They know their roles and they
Michael
know
Porter
what
role is to shoot the basketball every time he touches it.
like they
He
know what their
shoots it
best attribute. They know what their best attributes is, and the Lakers is trying to find theirs, bro. Somehow the Lakers don't know their roles. Like they just somehow they don't. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem. That's the difference between the two teams. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, but let's move on. What you think about my boy Victor Wembanyama, the big fella?
um, I think he's gonna be a great player, bro. I mean, I don't know how you could say he's not. I mean, I think he's gonna be an amazing player. I mean, I think he struggled the last two games, but you're gonna see that. I mean, he's a rookie. He's a young rookie too. He's only 19 years old. But I think that he's well advertised, bro. I think that
Yeah,
he has a lot of potential. I think he's lived up to what you know. I think that he's lived up to what we thought he was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I think it's up for grabs for rookie of the year right now between him and Shet. I don't think he clears. I don't think he clears. I think Chet's playing just as well as he has, but like I said, I mean, well advertised rookie, man. Can't say much more about him. He's been really impressive. Has some really impressive games too. You know what I'm saying? So I think
definitely.
that's where I stand on that.
Um, I think if he don't get hurt, he's going to be all time great. I think his floor is top five. I think his ceiling is the best player in the NBA. He's like a taller version of KD. He that blocks more shots. He's a better passer. But he's playing with a bunch of guys who don't know their role. These guys don't give him the ball really until the game's on the line. And the games that they won, Wemby's the one who closed the game out. But man, like you said, he's living up to the hype, man. Everything that comes with it. I'm excited for this dude. I love watching him. I've seen every game. He's a hell of a player. Um,
I don't like giving uh giving like him a ceiling just because you just never know what's gonna happen. Like you said, health. I wouldn't be too concerned about health because he just hasn't shown us any signs early of health, like health ish, like in terms of staying healthy on the floor. But I just don't like giving guys a ceiling. I think it's a lot of really good young guys right now in the league that still have like for instance like Anthony Edwards. Like I don't think we've seen the best of Anthony Edwards yet. I think he's still getting better, and you're seeing that kind of
no
seeing a
doubt.
little bit of
I think he
a
top
little
10 right
bit.
now.
I think he's doing a little bit of that this year. So I don't know. Like I'll just pump the brakes and just fill in now. Sure, if we just look at everything that he can do, I mean, sure, like we just imagining the best version of Wemby in a couple years with all that talent that he has and everything that he brings to the table. And sure, I could say like, yeah, maybe one day he possibly could be the best player in the league, or we'll look at him in that
Oh yeah,
sense.
no
But
doubt.
I don't want to like put too much on the ceiling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's nice. Who you think so far? Let's go move on to the next topic. Who you think is the most impressive team in the league so far?
Um, I thought it was the Celtics up until yesterday. Um, I know they dropped the last two games. See, that's why I said I'm not gonna put a lot on these first eight games.
It's
Earlier heard
fluent. It's day to day. Fluent.
earlier heard in first take Kendrick Perkins with a crazy take that the 76ers are the best team in the league right now. I just I don't agree with that. I know they beat the Celtics and people gonna overreact, but um I do think the most impressive team has been the Celtics in terms of just dominance. You know what I'm saying? They haven't took it easy on the teams that they're supposed to beat. Is what stands out with like the teams that they're supposed to beat. I don't think they've taken it easy on the teams that they have supposed to beat. So with that being said, I will go to with them towards my most impressive team. There's a couple of honorable mentions. Like I'm impressed with so far what I've seen out of the Warriors. Of course, Denver. Denver looks like Denver.
Definitely.
Denver, the Warriors. I will say those two teams in honorable mention. Like I said, I would stick with the Celtics. I'm not gonna you know, and 76ers too as an honorable mention. Just unleashing Maxey and is a new look
Told
from what we've seen last year.
I told you he was going to take off once Harden got rid of Harden. Harden was holding him
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, so I think this is a new look. I like what I've seen out of Oubre with the Sixers. So I'm gonna go with the Sixers, the Warriors, Denver, of course, and I'm gonna go with Celtics as my top, just based off, like I said, dominance and beating the
Yeah.
teams, dominating the teams that you're supposed to beat.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say right now, Boston's the top of my food. They up there for most impressive, but right now I probably have to say Denver. Denver's only lost one game. Boston played a contender finally yesterday. They didn't win, and the game really wasn't that close. What it seemed to be yesterday. They came back at like 2 minutes to go yesterday, but that game wasn't as close as it was.
They best two
Another
players don't play
team.
awful. You don't expect Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to play like that in the future.
Oh yeah, I don't. But also like 76ers have been really impressive, like maxing them, and beating them. So you got to keep an eye out on them. I also like Golden State and really been impressed. Chris Paul looked like the best backup point guard in the league. He was an all time great in his day. He was a bad boy, you know what I'm saying? But I've been impressed with them. Another thing I want to say, LeBron gets a lot of hype for like the way he plays at 40 years old, as he should, you know what I'm saying? But the way Steph is playing at 35, you've never seen a guard in this like era or any other era playing at this high level the way he's playing. You know what I'm saying? At 35, is he can't just put his shoulder down and like just move anybody out the way how Braun can, physicality and stuff. Like he looks better than he ever has. He have right now
Uh, I
his
mean,
numbers right now.
I would say you're right, but I just can't speak for that. I haven't watched every other point guard in the last 40, 50 years play at 35 years old. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I can't speak for that, but
he's doing is
I
pretty
mean,
incredible.
I
He
like
got
where
a
you're
50,
going.
40, 90 so far.
I like where you're going with that. I mean, I would agree, but
Yeah,
I just can't. I haven't seen every other point guard play in the last 40 years. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But like
This is the
at
best I've ever
35
seen
years
him.
old, I could say that he looks like he's not slowing down. Um, yeah, it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon right now. I say that. I agree with
Yeah.
that. He looks like that's the best version of himself. Um,
Let me give you a
I
pat on the
say
back. I ain't never seen you give my boy some praise, man. That's all
I
right.
like Steph.
I
I see.
never seen you
The,
give the GOAT some
see
praise.
the
Yeah.
thing is I like Steph Curry. I just don't like the Steph Curry Glazers, bro. Like the Steph Curry
Oh
fans that
my
just be talking
God.
insane. Like don't say no insane stuff, and I'll rock with Steph. Don't say nothing insane,
Oh
and I'll rock with
man.
Steph. Well, I think it was a conversation. You know, LeBron, would he still be the same player without if he didn't go to Miami? So we were having this conversation the other day, and I think one of my
Yeah,
biggest issues with what Shannon Sharp and what Stephen A was saying is you don't know what would have happened if he didn't go to Miami. You know what I'm saying?
we don't.
Um, Now, like I said before, he had a couple other options of teams that he could have went to, and those teams were going to be stacked wherever he went. He had the Clippers, the Bulls, the Knicks. Either one of it doesn't matter what team he goes to. Those teams were going to be stacked. Expect those teams were going to be stacked, and somebody else was going to come join him and come play with him, kind of like Chris Bosh came to Miami. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like the whole notion. Oh, you wouldn't have as many rings, and I mean, you don't know that. You don't know what would have happened. Now, LeBron went and responded on Twitter and pretty much said, like, yeah, maybe I wouldn't have had any rings, but it'd be the same level of dominance. Now, in those first 7 years that LeBron has played, he was already talked about as the best player in the league. I mean, I know it was him rap for rap with him and Kobe, but a lot of guys thought that LeBron was already the best in the league. He's already touching all-time great status in terms of just what he was doing, what he had already done. Taking that really bad Cleveland team to the finals. Some performances that we've seen, dominant performances, that historical performances that we have seen from him already. So, I say that's just a subjective conversation, bro. Like, it's nothing that you could say, oh yeah, he would have, had just as many rings, or he wouldn't have. It's something like it'd be up in the air, obviously, if he didn't go to Miami. Now, because he went to Miami, we already knew he was gonna win up in Miami when he went there, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like what would have happened if he didn't go to Miami, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with him saying that he had been the same player because he would have been the same great LeBron James that we know, 21 years in, the way he take care of his body and everything. But it would have been how I feel about this topic is it would have been hard if he did. We don't know if he would have won the rings, if he would have won the Chicago's or the Clippers or New York. If he don't have them two rings, we can't argue him in the GOAT conversation how we do up there with the Jordans and the Kareem. You know what I'm saying? It would have been hard to do that. As player wise, of course, he would have still been LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? We're not taking nothing. And I think what LeBron is saying, and I think like how other people are taking it, they're like saying like one thing, he's like probably trying to say another thing because he usually says things like that, and like they meaning like he came out and said on Twitter, he was like, hell yeah, like I'm the chosen one. I still he would have still for sure been LeBron James. I'm not taking that away from him, but when he went to Miami, the narrative was before he went to Miami, he can't win a title. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know for sure. Like if he would have went to Chicago, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like how him and D Rose would have played out. They both need the ball in their hands. I don't know how he would have played out with New York. Stoudemire is being hurt. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know, but that's how I feel about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean I would agree. I just don't we just don't know how things would have went. Now I agree if he didn't have those two rings, it'd be hard to assert him in the
It,
GOAT conversation,
it
obviously.
would.
But what Stephen A. and what Shannon Sharp was saying is just completely false. I just don't agree with anything that they were saying in terms of, they kind of was like basically saying that LeBron wouldn't have been like in the GOAT conversation if he didn't go to Miami. And I'm just like, you don't know what would have happened if he didn't go to Miami.
We
You know what I'm
don't.
saying? There's nothing that anybody could speak for, but and we could both agree in terms of just dominance, in terms of just the player that he, became today. Um, I think he would still be that same player, of course.
Yeah,
Uh,
no doubt.
we're gonna move on to the NFL, man. I know this is, your team.
Hmm. Eagles versus the Clown
This is
Boys.
versus Dallas.
Yeah,
Game
man.
that actually we've been waiting for.
I thought coming. I think this game was the game of the year so far. It had the most views of any NFL game this year. The Eagles didn't play very well. There was like two injuries in our secondary. They was killing us in the slot. CeeDee Lamb had a huge game. They was picking us apart. This game went down to the wire. Dak played one of the best games I've ever seen him play. Um,
I've heard, so I've
he
heard. So I
balled.
didn't actually watch
He
the game, but yeah, that's what I've heard.
Dak balled, and as Cowboy fans, they always gonna try to blame him, but it wasn't his fault they lost that game. The Eagles is just a better team. They played their best game. If anything, that was their chance to get the Eagles. Um, I don't think Dak is gonna play like that again versus the Eagles. He threw over 300 yards, three touchdowns. I don't think that's gonna happen again. Um, freaking I don't think Philly played like I said, they didn't play the best, but Philadelphia also I feel like has another year. I feel like Philadelphia so far in the season is just like it kind of remind me last year, like how the Golden State the 73-9 team was after they lost. Like last year, we had the sack record.
Yes.
We
Bro,
listen. We
bro,
got
come on,
listen. We
bro.
got the sack
Come on,
record. We
dog.
got this. Listen. We got in the Super Bowl. That meant nothing. We didn't even touch Patrick one time. Now this year, it's like, all right, we know how to get back there, and we just going along with the season, just trying to be healthy for the playoffs. And this team has another year. They ain't peaking too early. They just winning football games in old-fashioned way. We're starting to run the ball. I'm emphasizing on that. We're starting to run the ball a little more, but I really want to tighten up on that secondary. You know what I'm saying? Because we been getting eat up. Sam Holloman looked like Joe Burrow back there versus us, icing this up, and then Dak had a huge game. So we gotta get Roby back in the secondary. That's our nickel corner, and I think they're gonna be all right. But I like what I see from them boys. You feel me? We got
Whenever
a vibe.
I say in terms of the Eagles, man, like they up there for the best team in the league. I think it's between them and like how the Ravens been playing so far.
Also the
I think
Bengals.
I think the Ravens has been a bit more dominant than the Eagles have. Um, but I mean, it's too early. I think it's still too early in the season to even, say who the best team is. I mean, I think it's up for grabs. I think Eagles have been, well advertised, man. I thought they have a couple losses just by this time of the season this year. I didn't think they could replicate what they did last year in the regular season, So definitely been impressed with the Eagles. And as far as Dallas is Dallas offense doesn't really do much impressive to me, and if their defense isn't functioning, um, then I don't think that they are in position to beat those teams like the Eagles, or the better, upper echelon like the Chiefs and like
I
the
think the
Ray. I don't.
Cowboys. I think the Cowboys aren't. Like it's a lot of Cowboy fans, so they hype them up every year. But I think they're like on the same level as the Detroit Lions, Seattle Seahawks. They're on the next line level. The Eagles and the 49ers, even though the 49ers have lost a couple games, they still the two top teams. Like if everybody's healthy come playoff time, they're gonna be the two. The NFC Championship is set. It's gonna be them two teams in the NFC Championship if everybody's healthy. And it's crazy to sound. I low key want San Francisco to beat us when we play them in the regular season coming up because I don't want to already beat them twice and then they're gonna be amped out of their mind to beat us. It's gonna be hard to beat them 3 times. So that's something to look
Y'all got
for
a tough
too.
schedule
We got
coming
a
up.
killer schedule coming up.
Y'all got to cover Steelers.
Monsters. We got the toughest football.
Yeah.
We got a monster. We got the Chiefs. We got
I
the
think Buffalo.
Bills. We got 49ers, and then we got the Cowboys again in Seattle. We got a killer schedule, so we can come out of that schedule like maybe 4-1. I'll take that, but we might lose maybe two.
At least, even two
Lose like
losses.
two in that stretch.
Even two losses isn't bad in that stretch. I don't think two losses is bad in that stretch either.
Yeah, in that stretch, yeah, we got the toughest schedule in football.
Yeah. So have y'all got one loss, right? Technical difficulties, as usual, bro. Damn. Technical difficulties. Yo. Now we lost them. Okay, so yeah, he's getting his Wi-Fi together. Um, he's getting his Wi-Fi. He'll be back in a minute. But yeah, Eagles got a rough schedule coming up. Like you said, it'd be good if they even finish out with 2 games. Still think Chiefs is the favorite in my opinion. Just going into the postseason, because they're usually the best in the postseason. I mean, we like kind of used to this typical Chiefs on schedule, like how they've been playing so far. Mahomes hasn't been the best version of himself at times. I don't think we've seen the best version of their team. Still beat some good teams. Yo.
Oh, my fault. Had technical difficulties. We back.
Yeah, so what I was saying, actually saying that, yeah, I think like it'll be good if like with the Eagles stretch coming up that if they even just get by with just 2 losses, you know what I'm saying, is be good for them. Which I think they will. Even they might even just come out with 1 loss, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, as far as I still got the Chiefs as my favorites, bro, just because how they play in the postseason, what we're used to in the postseason. I think you mentioned the Bengals. I think the Bengals back healthy, a healthy Burrow is really dangerous. Up for
No
grabs. I mean,
doubt.
they're gonna give the Chiefs a run for their money. They're gonna give the Chiefs a run for their money. They're gonna give everybody a run for their money. So I think
Definitely.
they should be emphasized, but I still have the Chiefs as my favorite. So I don't think that's changing anytime soon. Um, we'll see how things wrap up in the postseason. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how things like eventually wrap up in the postseason. It'd be interesting to see how Ravens look in the postseason as well. So all that
Yeah.
all that is still up for grabs. You know what I'm saying? I'll say that.
Yeah.
You know,
What you think? What you think about your Vikings and your boy Dobbs, man?
most impressive comeback of the season so far is the Vikings. I don't get how you say how not like we not. I think what were we 1-3 or 1-4?
1-4, I believe.
We were
I
one and
think.
four. We won the last the last four. We're 5-4 now. So, um, look, man, it's pretty much came down to the Vikings. And what's the difference between last year and this year is that Vikings won and came out in a lot of close games last year. This year they've been in the same situation, haven't been able to come out in some of those close games that they came out in last year. But they bounced back. I mean, what you've expected with an offense as talented as theirs. Addison is well advertised as a rookie. I think he's been the most impressive rookie, either him and Zay Flowers. I think they've been the most impressive rookie receivers. Well advertised. Hawkinson has been well advertised at times. This is one of the best, receiving cores in the NFL football league. I feel like one of the most talented offenses that we've seen. Um, Unfortunately, Kirk went down with a bad injury, but I
Yeah.
like Dobbs, man. I like Dobbs. I mean, he's played for a bunch of teams. It seems like he's been in the league forever, but um, I think that just watching him, at times with the Cardinals, I've been impressed with him and with our offense, what we can, provide for him, the weapons that we could provide for him. I think he'll flourish in that system. And we seen kind of the first taste of it, last week. Him coming in, not even knowing everybody's names, not even, knowing the full playbook, and being able to, come out with a performance like that, in a close game, in a game-winning drive, I think is mighty impressive for him. You know what I'm saying? Mighty impressive,
Definitely. Yeah,
definitely.
man. I think that was a pretty remarkable way he led them after getting signed a couple of days before. I give y'all a puncher's chance to maybe sneak into the playoffs. Y'all got a pretty favorable favorable schedule. You getting JJ back. Um, so y'all heading in the right direction. What are y'all 5-4 now? One game over
It's gonna end up
500.
you breaking up
You
a little bit. Yo,
hear me?
yeah, you breaking up a little bit.
You hear me?
But you kind of I like it's I think it's more of your like yeah, there you go. You focusing in a little bit. But no, I think it's gonna come down to us in Detroit in terms of the division. And if we could at least split them, then it'll be cool. If we could just split them one and one, we could split them, then it'll be cool. I think we definitely beat them one of the two times, especially with JJ back out there. He'll be back by that time. I think he's clearing up. He's on IR right now. But we'll see how, it plays out.
Yeah.
Uh let's get into college basketball, man. I know you've been watching some of the, recent college basketball games. First week of college basketball, I think first 3 days. Hasn't been a lot of great ranked matchups. We've seen some upsets like, for instance, Michigan State. But I wanted to more talk about some of the freshmen and who stood out, just some of the newcomers in college basketball that's standing out so far for me. Just watching was really impressed with what I've seen out of Auburn and Baylor from both sides. Both freshmen, I think both two 5-star McDonald All-American freshmen. Aiden Holloway, which I always liked his game. I'm not gonna lie, I still follow up with high school a little bit. In terms of just the high school guys, the younger guys. I thought Aiden Holloway, I always liked his game, man. It's a really smooth game, can shoot the ball, can score the ball really well. Smart guard, really flashy, but plays the right way. At the end of the day, plays the right way. He's gonna take some shots, but he makes them. He shoots a high clip, man. You gotta live with them shots when you got a guy like that. I did not expect the performance from I think Jacoby. I want to say Jacoby Walter. Is that his name? From Baylor. Really impressive 28-point
Yeah.
performance. Can shoot the hell out the rock, man. Impressive what I've seen by him. Still like Jared McCain, what I've seen out of him, and even Kayla Foster in their first game with Duke. they look like they're well polished and fitting to the flow of Division I basketball.
Yeah.
Also of like even the Kentucky bunch, man, that number one recruiting class. What I've seen out of them in their first game so far, playing a New Mexico team and blowing them out by like 30 or 40 points. I think they all scored in all their 5-star freshmen recruits scored in double digits that game. They're still missing one of the guys in Aaron Bradshaw, but I like what I've seen out of them. They're gonna have a tough matchup next week against a tough Kansas team, a veteran Kansas team. Even also like I'm missing his name right now. I'm missing his name. Your boy back there from UConn, Stephon Castle. I like him too. I like his game coming out of high school. Okay. Yeah, I like his game coming out of high school, man, and I think he's gonna be a big factor, a big piece for UConn. Obviously, he's a starter, and you know, I don't get into too much into the NBA draft projected picks and all that nonsense. We're gonna put that to the side. Also, I'm missing Isaiah Collier. I think he's well advertised as well. I think he's USC's best player. I even think he's better than Boogie right now. I think he's better than Boogie right now. You know what I'm saying? I think he's their best player. I think he's a one and done guy. I do. He looks like a one and done guy out there, man. So
I haven't really been able to like lock in yet really on the season. It just started this week and I've been busy with my season. But the two main people I've been looking at so far in college basketball is Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. so, so I'm gonna get locked in this weekend and stuff. I took my season off, man, but
in my opinion, the real first week of college basketball is next week with all them big games.
On Tuesday.
So I think Kentucky played Kansas, yep, and then Michigan State play Duke.
Yep.
Oh, actually, Duke plays Arizona tomorrow, so I'll be looking forward to that game too.
Yeah, man, but that's all she wrote, man. Good episode, man, and I'll hit you.
It's gonna be the end of our episode, man. Yeah, I'll catch up with y'all. Catch up with you more. We'll be back next week.
All
right.
Don't give a fuck what the boy gotta say at the end of the day, he know he could get hurt. I got a check, so I'm having my way hurt. They ran out of rest, so I'm sipping on perk. Rollin' New York like I'm Karis LeVert. Was on the block, but now I'm in the vert.